Hey everyone, it's me again, Brittany, and I'm here today to give you my most anticipated releases for 2021. This is kind of the official first video that I'm filming in this new year. I mean, I've been doing a lot of filming, but this is like the first actual sit-down video, so I'm kind of excited. We're going to be going over 21 of my most anticipated releases for this year. I'm not going to be giving extremely thorough summaries of these books. I'm just going to kind of give you bullet points and why I'm really interested in them. I'm going to give you the release date, and I'm probably going to put a picture of the cover, and we'll just kind of move on from there. Don't worry though, I will be linking all of the books down below just in case you guys want to check them out for yourself and see a little bit more about them or add them to your own Goodreads lists. I am also going to be linking my Goodreads list that I've been curating for my 2021 anticipated releases, which are many more than the 21 I'm talking about today, and which I'll likely be updating as the year goes along and as more releases are announced, since this is more of like the first half of the year anticipated releases. We'll see if I do another one. I don't know. Guess you'll have to tell me if you want that. And before we jump into those books, I'm actually going to give a big thank you to the sponsor for today's video, which is Book of the Month. I've worked quite a few times with Book of the Month in the past. You guys are probably well aware of them. I'm a very big fan of their service, so I'm really happy to be working with them once again this year. Book of the Month is a subscription service where you get to pick every single month from 5 new or early release titles to get one of those books sent to your doorstep for the low price of $14.99 a month, which is definitely going to be the most affordable price for a new and early release adult fiction hardcover. And the wonderful part about this is that Book of the Month has an incredible mission to promote new and emerging authors, and they do this by actually going through hundreds and hundreds of new and early release titles every single month to pick the 5 that they think that their subscribers are going to get the most from, meaning they're doing all the hard work for you and you get to just pick one of the 5 books that they have narrowed down all of those books down to. But don't worry, just in case there is a month that you don't actually want the book or you don't like any of the titles offered, you can always skip. It is a risk-free subscription service, and then your credit will just roll over to the next month and you won't get charged twice for it. And if you actually use the code NEWBOOKS this month, you will actually get your first box for $9.99, which knocks down that already very affordable price of $14.99 to $9.99. But I will also be leaving it linked down below just in case you guys do want to check out Book of the Month. I do want to kind of talk about the book picks for their month of January because they did send all 5 to me, which I think is really cool. So we'll start with the one that's actually in the books. So every single month you do just get the book, the box, and then a little bookmark for you to use, which let's see what this one's gonna be. I love it. It just says, I'll wait here. So the first book pick for the month of January is The Prophecies by Robert Jones Jr. And I'm just going to read you the excerpt on the inside, which says, "A singular and stunning debut novel about the forbidden union between 2 enslaved young men on a deep South plantation, the refuge they find in each other, and the betrayal that threatens their existence." Wow. Wow. The second book pick is going to be The Removed by Brandon Hobson, and this one, it doesn't have an excerpt, so I'll just read you the bottom part, which says, "Drawing deeply on Cherokee folklore, The Removed seamlessly blends the real and the spiritual to excavate the deep reverberations of trauma, a meditation on family, grief, home, and the power of stories on both a personal and ancestral level." It looks like it takes place 15 years after their teenage son Ray Ray was killed in a police shooting. Next we have The Dating Plan by Sarah Desai, and this one says, "Even with the step-by-step plan, these fake fiancés might accidentally fall for each other in this hilarious, heartfelt romantic comedy." Oh, I love a good fake dating trope. Next we have Outlawed by Anna North, and this one says, "In the year of our Lord 1894, I became an outlaw." So it looks like it has to do with a 17-year-old on the day of her wedding, and a year after marriage where there is no pregnancy, in a town where barren women are routinely hanged as witches, so she has to become an outlaw. And lastly, we have The Survivors by Jane Harper, which says, "Even the deepest secrets rise to the surface. Kieran Elliott's life changed forever on the day a reckless mistake led to a devastating consequence. Guilt that haunts him. A body is discovered on the beach." I really love that every single month they seem to have some very hard-hitting novels, a romance, and a thriller. I feel like it really can fit any kind of reader mood. So once again, thank you to Book of the Month for sponsoring this video, and also thank you to you guys just for always being really nice about the fact that I do sponsorships. I mean, I know that normally they're not always book related, so I feel like Book of the Month is a very fun one for me to do just because it is book related, and I feel like it fits so well into the theme of anticipated releases because every single month they are giving you either early releases or new releases for that month. So they're a really good place to stay up to date on what's coming out. Alright, so let's get into these books. The first book on my list is going to be Across the Green Grass Fields by Shauna Maguire, and this is coming out on January 12th. This is going to be the latest installment in the Wayward Children series, which I love so much. I just think that they're delectable. They are so whimsical, so interesting. They have to do with kids that find portals to different worlds and worlds that kind of fit their needs perfectly. It also has to do with how they come back to the real world and how they have to kind of adapt to reality again. And they go to this home for wayward children and kind of meet others that went to different portal worlds. And in this one specifically, we follow Reagan, who ends up in a portal world filled with centaurs and unicorns. So I feel like this is going to be one of her most whimsical yet, and I'm very, very excited. I mean, I'm not like the biggest unicorn person, but centaurs have always intrigued me, so. This next one I actually just stumbled upon when I was doing research for this video, and I mean, I don't know. So it's called Hades, Argentina by Daniel Lodell, and it comes out again on January 12th. And you guys know I'm always on the lookout for books that are either written by Argentinians, have some sort of Argentinian culture rooted in it. I am Argentinian on my mom's side, and I just really relate to the culture. I don't know how else to describe it. I guess like my dad's side just doesn't have any like culture to hold on to, so everything that is culture is Argentinian for me. That was a really long-winded way to say I'm Argentinian and I like to see Argentinian things, and you don't see it very often. So when I came across this, I was instantly intrigued, but the synopsis is a little odd. It was kind of hard for me to stick to thoroughly. It seems to be a historical fiction about a man who was in Buenos Aires and was looking for his lost love, but then he had to leave for whatever reason, and it's years later when he gets a call to return, a call from his lost love, and for a minute there I thought it was paranormal, but when I looked at the tags, there isn't any paranormal tags, so I guess we'll have to wait and see. But I mean, even the tagline says, a decade after fleeing for his life, a man is pulled back to Argentina by an undying love. And it follows Tomás in 1976, and I think that it's following the years of the war? Yeah, it looks like it is taking place in the time where the Dirty War happened in Argentina, which is kind of when there was a coup to remove the current president and the right-wing activists were staging a coup. But I'm really intrigued by this. Next on this list is Wings of Ebony by J.L. and it comes out January 26th. I am not gonna lie to you, I was instantly intrigued by the cover. In this, we follow Rue as she discovers that she is part god and what that really means for her as she's whisked away from everything she knows in Houston to a place of magic wielders by her father, but she does decide to leave and return only to find that Black kids are being forced into crime and violence in Houston by the evil powers, and how she's going to kind of stand up to it. It just sounds so interesting. I mean, not even just the cover. The cover is beautiful, but also the topic sounds like it's gonna be so fun. I mean, not fun. Not fun, that's not the right word. But I love anything that has to do with like half gods, demigods. I mean, it's probably not gonna give me too many Percy Jackson vibes, but I'm intrigued. Next we have The Project by Courtney Summers, which comes out February 2nd. I really wanted to have more than just like YA fantasy on this list, and I feel like I kind of succeeded because this is a thriller. The second book I talked about was also not YA fantasy. Obviously it's historical fiction, but still, I'm very proud of myself. We're growing this year, we're growing. But I do believe that this is a thriller having to do with a sister that's trying to get her sister out of like a cult. She's trying to expose them for the cult that they are and remove her sister from there, as she also tries to discover what happened to someone's dead son, potentially. Like that's her excuse to go get her sister out, or try to. So I don't know. Sounds really interesting. You guys know that I got really into thrillers last year, so I definitely was on the lookout for more. Also coming out on February 2nd is Muse by Brittany Cavallaro. This was kind of like an instant ad for me. I have not been disappointed by anything that Brittany Cavallaro has written. I loved the Charlotte? I loved the Charlotte Holmes series. I think that there's actually still one book that I haven't read in it, which is kind of exciting, so I should probably do that this year. Then I actually did read Hello Girls at the end of last year, which I haven't really talked to you guys about yet. I just really like the way that Brittany Cavallaro writes. It feels smart. From what I do know of this book, she is like her father's muse. He has this belief that she is the source of all of his brilliant ideas. He is an inventor and he thinks that like her touch gives him all of his great ideas. And so he's kept her in hiding, and then one day she is taken by someone else that also thinks that she is a muse and wants to use her for her muse-like abilities. Yeah, I mean, again, this isn't something that I really needed to know too much about before adding it to my anticipated releases. Also coming out on February 2nd is a sequel, and that's All the Tides and Fate by Adeline Grace, and this is the sequel to All the Stars and Teeth. Felt very strong Pirates of the Caribbean vibes during All the Stars and Teeth. It has to do with a princess who has a power that no one else in her kingdom can have, but when she tries to prove that she has that power, something goes wrong in the ritual and she ends up having to run away so she's not like executed. And she runs away with a rogue pirate kind of dude on his magical ship, and they pick up a mermaid along the way, and there's a lot more that happens than just that, but I mean, I still had very strong Pirates of the Caribbean vibes, so I loved it. I'm ready for the next book. Maybe the pacing will be better. I don't know. Coming out on February 9th is The Iron Raven by Julie Kagawa. I have really enjoyed Julie Kagawa's books in the past, so I was really excited to see that she's coming out with a new duology. I honestly didn't 100% understand the summary for this one. It seems to have to do with the jester from A Midsummer Night's Dream and his take on the story and how the world of fairy and human are going to be affected and something along those lines. I didn't 100% understand it. This was an ad because I just love Julie Kagawa as an author, so unsurprisingly, we have a Sarah J. Maas book on my anticipated releases, and that is A Court of Silver Flames, and it's coming out on February 16th. And this is technically the fourth book in the Court of Thorns and Roses series, but it is following different characters. We are following Nesta and Cassian, but I do believe that we're still going to be seeing most of the characters from Court of Thorns and Roses. I do think that you do have to read A Court of Thorns and Roses before you go into A Court of Silver Flames. This is technically the fourth book. It's not marketed as its own companion novels, but I'm so excited. People are very on opposite ends of the spectrum. They're either very excited to see Nesta in her own book, or they hate it. They don't want to see her. They hate Nesta. And to be fair, I think until my most recent reread of the series, I would have been on the team that I hate Nesta, but I'm still intrigued. But I don't hate Nesta anymore. Like, okay, yeah, everything that she does in A Court of Thorns and Roses, no spoilers, but she's not a good person. She kind of sucks, but like she owns that she sucks, and I really appreciate that. I relate in a weird way, because I like to think that I own up that I suck most of the time and that I'm not a good person. And so in that weird way, I relate to Nesta. And I'm really excited to see like where her story goes. I don't think Sarah J. Maas can do wrong in my eyes. I'm very biased, very biased. This next book I'm so excited about. It's Occulta, which is the sequel to Nocturna by Maya Motain, and it's coming out on April 6th. I felt pretty neutral when I read Nocturna a couple of years ago, but I did love that it was a Spanish-inspired fantasy. It felt lush. I mean, that's the only way I can describe the scenery. Like, the way that Maya Motain wrote the world was beautiful. I loved her writing. I loved the characters. I loved where the story could go. I felt a little bit meh overall because I think that I felt it was predictable, but I think that she has obviously grown as an author, and I'm very excited to see where Occulta is going to take us. So yeah. Next up, we have The Forest of Girls by June Her, and it's coming out on April 20th. That follows a girl who is looking into the disappearance of her father, who had been looking into the disappearance of 13 missing girls, and she has to return to her very secretive hometown years later to try and uncover what happened to him. And I was intrigued. It's a thriller. I think it's a YA, which is cool. I don't think I read very many YA thrillers, and the cover is stunning, so win, win, win. This next one is The Crown of Gilded Bones by Jennifer L. Armentrout, and it comes out April 20th. I mean, this is my most recent obsession. That's the only way I know how to describe it. I had been recommended to read From Blood and Ash by Mayana, if you watched my TBR last month, and I did. I started it on the last day of December. I finished it the first couple of days of January, and I marathoned it with the sequel, and then I reread it, and I'm currently in like my second reread of the second book. I love this. I love this. I don't even know how to describe it to you guys without spoiling any of the fun. I do want to mention the thing that I love most about it is something that's not mentioned at all in the summary, and I don't know if I should mention it or not. I don't think it's a spoiler, but I also don't want it to be marketed as that, so I'm not going to say it, but like, so exciting. It's just indulging me in all the things that I love about romance, kind of. We're in a fantasy world where we follow the maiden who is this chosen person, and she has to live her life under a veil, secluded from everyone basically, but she is everything to the people, and she is like this symbol of purity, and on her 18th, I believe, or 19th birthday, she ascends, and then everyone will ascend with her, and that is like amazing, and they're all trying to protect their kingdom from another kingdom that was thrown away by the gods. The gods do not look at that kingdom, and that kingdom is trying to still attack and take over their current kingdom, and she is the symbol, the icon. But she doesn't really want to be this symbol. She doesn't know if she really is the maiden. She doesn't know if she really believes in all this, and she kind of wants to like live her life, but also if she does that, she might just be condemning her entire kingdom to be taken over by the other kingdom that is rising again. Then she gets a guard. He's kind of making her question all her morals, and he's very sexy too, so I love it. I haven't loved a book this much since the first time I read A Court of Thorns and Roses, I think. No, there has to be something since then. I don't know. Either way, it's on that tier, and I'm excited about the last book. So excited. Next we have The Ones We're Meant to Find, which comes out on May 4th, and this is written by Joan He, I believe. I might be mispronouncing. This is a very intriguing kind of mystery style YA where there are two sisters that were separated, one who woke up in an abandoned island 3 years prior with only like an old android and a broken down manor to keep her safe, I guess, and who knows that the only way for her to get off of it is for her sister to find her, and then her sister, who is like a prodigy as far as like STEM stuff goes. I was right, a STEM prodigy, that's literally how they describe her. I mean, that's really all I knew about it, but it sounded very interesting to me, so I'm excited to check it out. And again, a beautiful, beautiful cover. This is the year of just like stunning covers, and I'm so here for it. Ooh, this next one. So coming out May 11th is Blackwater Sister by Zen Cho, and I'm just gonna read you the caption for this because a reluctant medium discovers the ties that bind can unleash a dangerous power in this compelling Malaysian set contemporary fantasy, where we're following Jessamine Tao, who is closeted, broke, and moving back to Malaysia, a country she left when she was a toddler, when she starts hearing voices. I'm not gonna lie, this is another one that I added on initially because of the cover, but then I read the summary and I was very, very, very interested. Ooh, this one. Another initial cover ad, but then I read the summary and it was everything that I thought it was. It's kind of interesting because all these cover like ads that I did, these summaries very much have the same vibes as the covers give off, so I'm very proud in the way that the artists are making covers nowadays because I think that they're really encapsulating the vibes. Anyways, that's gonna be The Lights of Prague, which comes out May 18th and is written by Nicole Jarvis. I mean, it's just such a spooky looking, intriguing cover, and don't you worry. It definitely has to do with Prague and the spookiness and the monsters and vampires. And all of these things are unbeknownst to the citizens, and there's Domek who is leading a life destroying these monsters. Until he is haunted and kind of discovers that maybe there is a bigger conspiracy thing going on. And no, I mean literally haunted by a ghost. I just thought it was really interesting. It sounds fun. I love the spooky vibes. I love vampires. I think vampires are making a comeback in the best way. I was never ready to let them go, you know? Next we have Gearbreakers by Zoe Hannah Mikuta, which comes out June 29th. Another cover ad. But it says, two girls on opposite sides of a war discover they're fighting for a common purpose and falling for each other. And this is the author's debut novel, and the caption says that it's perfect for fans of Pacific Rim, which I am a big fan of Pacific Rim, the movies. I mean, I don't know if there's anything else besides the movies, but I am a fan of the movies. Oh, it also says perfect for fans of the Red Rising Saga by Pierce Brown, another series I am extremely fond of. This next one I'm so excited about. It comes out on July 16th and is written by Leah Johnston, who wrote You Should See Me in a Crown, which was one of my favorite books of last year. And this is called Rise to the Sun. I'm very excited. I'm a little bit nervous too, just because the summary is kind of vague. We're following two girls, one who's grieving a loss, the other one who's grieving a broken heart, and both of them just looking forward to a 3-day-long music festival that's called like the Farmland Music and Arts Festival, and how their paths collide and how their bond just forms. Like, it's unimaginable how quickly they become attached. But then something goes wrong at this festival that starts a panic and makes them rely even more on each other. I mean, you guys probably know I go to quite a, well, I mean not currently, but I have in the past gone to quite a few music festivals. I don't know, there's something about it. I mean, I don't have to justify it, but yes, going to Coachella makes me very happy. It's just a good time. There's beautiful art, there's art installations, there's music, there's great food, and it's just like 3 days where you literally cannot think of anything except for that, and it's a good time. So I'm really excited to see a book that kind of has that as a plot. What I am nervous about though is the whole panic thing that happens. I mean, I don't know like what direction that's gonna take, if it's going to be like pandemic related or shooting related. I would hope that it's not anything too serious like that, just because I mean I don't really want to see festivals taken in that way, and I just wouldn't necessarily want to see anything like that in a book. Just would hit a little too close to home. And a virus would also hit a little too close to home. So I'm just hoping that it's like a regular kind of panic, like a, I don't know, the headliner isn't gonna show up. I feel like it would be, because Leah Johnston had such a wholesome, beautiful, lovely writing style in You Should See Me in a Crown that I would hope it carries over. Also coming out on July 6th is another beautiful cover, and that's 6 Crimson Cranes by Elizabeth Lim. I truthfully don't know too much about this story. I believe that we follow 2 different girls with 2 different sets of magic, one who has forbidden magic and has to kind of hide it and go on the run to find her family, and another who has dark magic as well. And that first with forbidden magic is the last princess of her kingdom, and she is banished because of the forbidden magic in her veins. But I believe the person that banishes her has dark magic as well. I mean, either way, it's a fantasy, it has a beautiful, beautiful cover, and it has to do with dark magic, which I enjoy. Also coming out on July 6th is yet another sequel to a series, or to a book that I didn't think I would like as much as I did, and I loved it. And that's gonna be The Last Graduate, which comes out again July 6th and is written by Naomi Novik. I'm not gonna tell you too much about the sequel. It's a dark academia novel that really took the book exactly where I wanted it to go. It's dark, it doesn't make a lot of sense, the school is so intriguing, and our main character is, I love her. And the like love interest, not really love interest, but like the main guy, a cinnamon roll. I love him. He's so sweet. Anyways, I'm excited. Wow, we're down to the last 3. So on August 3rd, we have a couple of books coming out, the first of which being A Lesson in Vengeance by Victoria Lee. This is another dark academia style thriller novel that I don't know too much about. I honestly heard the words dark academia and thriller and I ran with it, and I'm very excited about it. But those are the only things I know. Okay, let's go to the next one. Also coming out on August 3rd is another mystery thriller book, and it's called All's Well by Mona Awad. And this one, I heard Books and Lala talking about it in her most anticipated books of the year. I really trust her mystery and thriller knowledge. Obviously, I don't have much of my own to go off of. I was instantly brought in. I mean, just the fact that the face mask on the cover is made out of like pills, and it apparently has to do with a woman who has a dependence on painkillers, and she's trying to direct a college theater production of All's Well That Ends Well, but ends up facing a mutinous cast that wants to do Macbeth instead. And I think it has to do with how she feels like that All's Well That Ends Well was going to be her redemption arc, and now she can't do it, and kind of her revenge on the students that staged the coup. I don't know, it just sounded very interesting and I want to see it. Last on this list is a book that was also on last year's list and one I'm still looking forward to, and that's Empire of the Vampire by Jay Kristoff, which comes out September 7th. Thank goodness. I haven't looked too much into this summary, if I'm gonna be quite honest with you. I mean, the times that I have, there's just so much going on in the summary that I just forget about it pretty quickly. So all we're gonna talk about is the fact that it is a vampire book, and I'm so excited about it. It gives me very strong Nevernight vibes in the way that the summary is told, and obviously I'm a very big fan of Nevernight, even if I still haven't finished the last book. And I am a very big fan of how Jay Kristoff writes, and I'm excited to see how he does vampires, you know? I mean, I'm just ready for vampires to be back. I loved vampires. And like I said, I was never ready for the vampire era to end. It just kind of happened, and I wasn't ready for it. So I'm glad that we are finally getting back to it. Anyways, my voice is disappearing. This video is long, and editing Brittany probably hates me, but I'm so excited to share these books with you. Again, these are not even kind of all of the books that I'm excited for this year, so if you want to see a more thorough list, follow the link to my like mini anticipated Goodreads list. Yeah, I'll try and keep it updated. I'm gonna hope to be better about Goodreads this year. And once again, thank you Book of the Month for sponsoring today's video. Don't forget to use the code NEWBOOKS to get your first box for $9.99, or just follow the link down in the description bar below. And that's gonna be it for this video today, guys. I want to do an emoji. Let's leave... Shoot, I wish there was a vampire. Oh, there is! There is a vampire emoji. You guys get to pick the boy or the girl. I do not care. I just fill it up with vampires. Let's do it. And besides that, let me know what you guys are excited for. If there are any books that you think that I'm gonna be excited for that I didn't mention in this list, or that aren't on my Goodreads list, or whatever it is. I would love to hear more from you guys in the comments below. I love you all so, so much, and I will see you in my next one. Goodbye! Oh, curtain bangs are gonna be the death of me. The death of me. Oh, Luna, I got you, don't worry. It is following Fortuna, correct? Ow. 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 Nocturna. See, I mean, cover ads, yeah, they seem kind of petty and aesthetic, but they tend to work. It's weird. Oh, my eyeball is itchy. This is the sequel to the... Oh my god, I do it every time. To A Deadly Education. I always want to call it the Scholomance. That's it. That's all I want to call it.